Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for clicking this video. So today I'll be showing you guys how to make this lovely, delicious looking oha soup. So let's get right into it. So the first ingredient for this recipe is our cocoyam, also known as the ede. In order to save time, I've gone ahead to wash and boil it. You can see how soft it's already looking. So next is the stockfish. I have stockfish head and some fillets. I have some dried catfish, some oha leaves. I also have some uziza leaves. This leaf is very important for this recipe. Make sure to add it. I have some goat meat. I also have some beef and cow tripe. They are salted meat. I have some omo and some crayfish. And finally, I have salt, seasoning, and peppers. Make sure to add the yellow peppers, very important. And I have ogiribo, very important ingredient for this recipe. Make sure to add it. If not, your oha soup is not complete. And then little uziza seeds and very good palm oil. So this is all you need for this recipe. Let's get right into cooking. The first thing is to wash your stockfish because you want to be boiling it alongside the meat. Just soak it in hot water and let it sit for a few minutes. After a few minutes, you take out the hot water and replace with cold water and just wash it. It's very important to wash your stockfish this way to get rid of whatever chemical that was used in storage and get rid of any insects inside the stockfish. So once I'm done, I'm going to set that aside and I'll repeat the same process for my dried catfish. So to a neat pot, though I'm using a wok for this, so to a neat pan, whatever you're using, you add your protein. So I'm making a very large portion of soup. That's why I have all of this protein. You can use just one if you want. You can use just beef. You can use whatever you want. It's your soup. Just make it the way you want. And I'll be seasoning with just salt, seasoning cube, and pepper. This soup doesn't really need onion. Unless maybe you can't do without onion, but it really doesn't need onion. So while my meat is cooking, I'm going to go ahead to prep the rest of my ingredients. I'm just taking off the skin, the peel from my cocoyam. I'm just going to take off this peel from this particular cocoyam. You don't need to blend it with the peels. So make sure to get everything out and just set it aside. So checking on my meat now, it's looking good. I'm just going to add some more water to enable it cook and soften more easily. I'll be seasoning with salt. You want to make sure that this is going to be the base for your soup. You want to make sure it's very concentrated. I'm just going to add some water to my cocoyam in the blender and blend. Growing up, I hated helping my mom in the kitchen with this soup because you have to pound and pound and pound yet or bamburu. But look at this lushness. Look at how creamy and beautiful and silky this cocoyam looks. I thank God for blender sha. So the next thing is my oha leaves. It's very easy to pluck. You don't have to pluck it individually. You don't have to pluck the leaves singles. You just run it through the stalk and everything comes out. And you don't have to cut this with a knife. You just shred it with your hands like this and you're good to go. I would advise you don't shred it into tiny bits so that when it goes into the soup, because it wilts easily, you will still want to be seeing the leaves looking broad. So don't shred it into tiny pieces unless that's what you prefer. So just add some salt and enough water and let this vegetable sit. That's the best way to wash your vegetable. Let it sit before washing it. And I already washed my uziza leaf before this video. Now I'm just going to slice it. Please make sure to slice this vegetable into tiny slices. It adds to the look, it adds to everything. Just slice it tiny. And look at that. The next prepping is my uziza, and I'm going to be adding a little crayfish to it to blend it smooth and set it aside as well. Once that is done, I'm going to be blending the rest of my crayfish and I'll be keeping it aside. Now my meat is done. You can see the size has kind of reduced because it's fully cooked now. I'm just going to take out the goat meat and the beef, and I'll be leaving the cow tribes in the pot because I believe it needs a little bit more cooking. Once that is done, I'll add some more water. You need enough water for this soup, but you want to be mindful, especially if you're not using cocoyam as your thickener. If you're using achi or cocoyam powder, you want to be careful with the amount of water you're pouring because it really doesn't thicken as much as the cocoyam does. So add your oil. Please let your oil boil before you start adding any other thing. And there goes my smooth blended cocoyam. You don't need to stress yourself with a mortar. If you don't have a blender, then that's fine. You can use a mortar. But if you have a blender, please make work easy for you. Stress doesn't pay. Once you pour it in there, you want to just, mix it properly the way I'm doing and cover and let it boil. So for my ogiri, I'm just going to, mix it properly with a little water and set it aside. This soup is actually easy to make when you prep all your ingredients, so that when you add the cocoyam, everything just start going in quick. So I'm going to let everything disintegrate properly in the pot before I start adding my ingredients. So first is my yellow and red pepper, and then my crayfish blended with uziza seed. So just mix this properly and let it boil. Some ingredient takes time to cook than others. That's why it's advisable not to add everything all at once. Once that boils, I'm going to be seasoning. Ogiri is actually a local seasoning. It's enough. Actually, you don't need to do too much with your seasoning cube. You add your ogiri, you add your salt, seasoning cube, and then uziza leaf. You want to add this uziza leaf on time because it releases a lot of flavor. It's very aromatic, so you need to add it on time so that the soup drains out the flavor from it before you finish cooking. So at this point, you can even eat this soup like this because the seasoning is on point. Everything is just really smelling and tasting so nice. Once you add ogiri to this soup, like it takes it from 100 to 1000 because it just gives it this native taste, which is what you're actually looking for when making this soup. I added my dried fish towards the end because it's actually soft, so I don't want it to cook too much. And then my meat, and combine that properly and just let it simmer for a minute. Add your crayfish and add your oha leaves. Guys, this soup was really nice. Some of my friends came over and we enjoyed every single bite from this soup. It really tasted so nice. This is the kind of soup you make for good in-laws, good husbands, your good friends. Just give this video a thumbs up, like the video. It's really going to help to support the video. Thank you so much for subscribing, and if you are yet to subscribe, you are really missing out. You are definitely missing out. We have a lot of recipes that you don't want to keep missing out. Thank you so much, guys, for always watching and for subscribing. If you're yet to subscribe, please give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. Help and support our ministry. For 3 months, we've been unintentionally off YouTube, but I have people subscribing, commenting, liking. I want to especially thank you guys so much. I love you so much. And for my new subscribers, you're welcome. I'll see you in my next one. Bye.